Hey, Level Up listeners, if you want to start booking 5-figure weddings, then it's time to start curating a 5-figure experience. Get started today with our Client Experience Bundle. Charging higher rates and booking higher quality weddings both require elevating your client experience, and our bundle is going to help you do just that. We are here to equip you with everything you need to impress your high-wealth clients and full-service wedding planners. With this guide, you are going to save yourself hours of troubleshooting and years of potential setback. Now, with this Client Experience Bundle that we've put together for you, you're going to have everything at your fingertips to elevate your communication and your processes both pre-wedding day and post-wedding day. This bundle not only includes email templates, but it also includes a customizable proposal template and professional guides. If you're looking to upsell your clients to serve them really well without feeling salesy, we also include polished and professional templates that provide your client with a feeling that you have their best interest at heart while helping you increase your profits. One of my favorite things about this bundle is that it includes our style guide. Dressing for the occasion demonstrates to your client and the creative team that you respect their event and also showcases a team player mindset. It's truly an incredible resource. Head over to thelevelupco.com/shop and position yourself at the top of the market and grab our Client Experience Bundle today.
Hey friends, Cassie here with the Level Up team, and I am so excited to intro you to today's episode. If you're anything like me, someone who craves external validation, it can be pretty scary making that decision to scale your business to the next level of the wedding market. I know when I was making that decision, I was almost waiting for someone to give me permission to tell me, okay, it's time, now's your chance, but that is simply not how it works. In fact, I think if I'd been able to listen to today's episode, I could have saved myself a lot of time and a lot of stress. Today, we get to listen in to a presentation Kelley gave to the San Diego chapter of Société Privée, and you guys, it is so good. She lays out the steps you need to take to recognize if you are ready to take your business to the next level and does it in a way where there is no room for guesswork. It is clear, it is concise, and by the end of it, you'll confidently be able to say, yes, this is the time. I also highly recommend watching this one on YouTube so you can follow along with the presentation. But enough chit chat, let's get into it.
This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelley Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here. So, let's get started. The truth of the matter, you guys, we all begin at the same starting line, right? We all start never working a wedding before, never planning a wedding before, never doing florals for a wedding before, never shooting a wedding before. We all start at the same starting line. And what is it that changes the trajectory of all of our businesses and where someone gets to 5 years in their business, where someone gets to 10 years in their business? What keeps each one of us from getting unstuck when we get stuck in our businesses? Here's a little bit about my journey. I think this was the second or third wedding I ever did. Can anyone say where this venue is? South Coast Winery. You'll see. This was 2010. I think we shot this one in September of 2010. The total wedding spend on this wedding was $20,000. $20,000 all in, everything. And they paid me $375 to shoot their weddings. And I was so stoked because I was a college student, you guys. I started my business in college. Paul and I had just gotten married 2 months before then, and we decided we really loved the experience of getting married, meeting our vendors. We loved the wedding industry. We loved the whole process, and I was a film student at the time, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do the whole LA thing. I'm like, I think weddings is it. I think I can see a future in this. But 3 years in, we were overworked, underpaid. I was feeling really uninspired with the budget market that we were serving. The clients were tough, you guys. If you guys know, you know. Those budget clients are tough. And I was really on the verge of burnout. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And I just felt like there were so many things piling up against me. I even had my cinematography professor catch wind of what my dream was to shoot weddings full time. And he pulled me aside and was like, what are you doing? This is not a career path, Kelley. You go to LA, you shoot shows, you shoot movies. That's how you make a living. How I wish he could see where I'm at now. So this was in 2024. This was a wedding that had an overall spend of $2.5 million. They had paid us $25,000 to shoot their event. And this wasn't something that happened overnight, right? It took 14 years. There's a 14-year gap between all of this. But I can say now, 14 years later, that I've never felt more fulfilled. I've never felt more inspired. I've never felt more trusted and valued by my clients. And if you know, when you get to work with higher end clients, typically the more trust comes along with it. And they just see you as someone who is just a creative partner that knows what they're doing and they can trust you. So I love this quote. And it says, growth is uncomfortable, right? It's easy to become complacent. It's easy to just turn on autopilot in our businesses and not yearn for more. But as I said, I think truly as entrepreneurs, we crave more. We crave growth. We crave creative outlets and things to constantly be changing in our lives and in our business. So growth is uncomfortable, but so is staying in the same place that you've outgrown, right? And I'll talk a little bit about this. So many of you guys might know this. Is anyone familiar with the tiers of the industry? The tiers of the industry, we all start at year one and we start in the budget market. And then from there, we move more into the lovely market. That's where the clients have a bit more of a wedding spend. And then the luxury market's actually split into 4 categories depending on the spend of event. This is a total wedding spend where you look at the head count of what people are spending, right? So in the budget market, they're probably spending a total spend of $500 per head when you look at the whole budget of the wedding. In the lovely market, we start to move up into the $1,500 per guest. And then we'll move into the entry luxury, mid luxury, upper luxury, and then ultra luxury. Ultra luxury being a spend of about $6,500 to $10,000 per guest in that. So ask yourself right now, have I outgrown the market that I'm serving? This is something that I never knew to ask myself and what led to the burnout in my first 3 years of business. I had outgrown that market. I was ready to step into something else. I just didn't know how, and I didn't know what to look for in recognizing when I had outgrown that market. So here's 3 things that I wanted to speak with you guys today on when you've outgrown your market. So you've outgrown your market if you are too comfortable, okay? If you're sitting here and things are on autopilot and things are easy and bookings are flowing in and you're booking out your year a little too early than you really should, that's when you're too comfortable. That's when it's time to move the needle in your business, raise your prices, expand your portfolio, expand your network. All of those things are what's going to lead to having us feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? Complacency in our business is dangerous. We want to continually, when I think back to weddings and projects that I felt scared going into, those were the ones that really moved the needle in my business. And so when you start to feel that way, you are in the right place. You're doing all the right things. You've outgrown your market if you are out of alignment. If the market that you're in is not serving you professionally and it's not serving you on a personal level too, right? I think a lot of us in this room, our businesses are overtake our lives, right? Paul and I, we have to mentally say we're not going to talk about work when we go out to dinner. It's all consuming, right? We have these clients that we're constantly talking to. Our business and our work is all consuming. And so we really have to be sure that we are in alignment in our businesses so that it's serving our personal lives as well. And you've outgrown your market that you're currently in if you're experiencing burnout. And I'm going to get into 2 areas in where you might be experiencing burnout. And I think, raise your hand, like if someone's experienced burnout in some way, shape, or form in their business, right? I think everybody kind of has, right? You're at the end of November, you're barely holding on, and you're just burnt out. You can't think about entering another season. So out of the 3 that I said, if you're too comfortable, if you're out of alignment, or if you're burnt out, if you were sitting there and you said, yeah, I think I am too comfortable. If you're too comfortable in your current market, this is, again, a really dangerous place to be because, like I said, it leads to being creatively unfulfilled, right? And when you're creatively unfulfilled, especially as creatives in the industry that we serve, this is when you're most vulnerable to a plateau in your business. That's when things have you haven't pushed the needle, moved the needle enough. That's when you start to see that like maybe bookings have kind of come down, or there's not alignment in the prices that you're demanding and the network that you have, or your portfolio isn't showcasing the prices that you're anticipating to get from clients. And when you hit a plateau, that's when you're also resulting in loss in revenue, right? And we hit a plateau and we're feeling like we're stuck in a dead zone and we can't raise our prices. That is when there's just loss in revenue. And no one wants loss in revenue, right, guys? I know that 2024 was a hard year, but I think 2025 is going to be a lot better. If you were sitting there and you were saying, yeah, maybe I'm out of alignment. I want to boil this down a little bit. So if you're out of alignment in your current market, you can either be personally out of alignment. So if you're personally out of alignment, that means that your current market doesn't support your season of life, or it's not helping you reach your personal life goals, okay? So I'm a mom with 3 young kids. I would be very out of alignment if I was still working in the budget market, shooting 40 weddings a year. I could not do that. If some of you guys are here listening, you have to be sure that in your personal life that your business is supporting that in what you need. Are you a parent? Are you a caretaker? Are you someone where your personal life demands more of you in a certain season? Make sure that you have positioned yourself and you're leveling up your business into an area in the market where it's going to support that, right? Now I'm shooting 10 weddings a year, maxing out at 12 weddings a year. We can handle that with the kids that we have in the season of life that we're in. So really take a deep dive on where you are at in your personal level or personal life and where you need to be in how many weddings you need to work, how many you need to do, what hours you need to be putting in order to support who you need to support in your personal life. And that could even look like yourself too. So also if it's not helping you reach your personal life goals, we started our business in 2010. In 2005, we started realizing we had a dream to become homeowners. With what we were charging and the amount of weddings that we knew we needed to take on to be able to get that chunk of a down payment to buy our first home, we said this market isn't for us anymore. We need to raise our prices. We need to be able to hustle. We didn't have kids at that time, so we could just raise our prices and shoot as many as we ever wanted to. But think about your personal life goals. Do you want to be able to send your kids to a private school maybe? Do you have a kid that's entering college in the next 7 years and you really need to start saving? Do you have a second home that you'd love to have somewhere out of California maybe someday? So making sure that that's in alignment, that you're able to work towards those personal goals and that it supports the season of life that you're in. Now, you might be professionally out of alignment, right? So if you're not feeling out of alignment on a personal level, maybe you're feeling out of alignment on a professional level. And an example of this is that my new ideal client doesn't align with or exist in my current market. How many of you guys have done some exercises on who your ideal client is? Yes? I hope everybody should. If you haven't, do that this week. Do a deep dive on who your ideal client avatar is so that you can set your brand up and you can start showing up in that way to be able to attract that ideal client in order to really serve them well. So maybe let's say it was 2020 and your ideal client was the boho bride getting married in Joshua Tree. And you're like, I love this. This is my girl, right? That boho bride in Joshua Tree has no money, right? So I'm just gonna be really real. And you probably did, if you were a photographer, you probably shot her wedding for $2,500, $3,500 max, right? Now you might be professionally out of alignment if now we're 4 years later, you don't want to work in Joshua Tree anymore. You're kind of burnt out on the boho scene and you're looking for something a little bit more classic and you've reinvented your ideal client avatar. Well, that client may not exist in the budget market, and that's great. You can move up into the lovely market, maybe even the luxury market. So that's just something that I think you should that's why having an ideal client is so important. Like, it is literally pivotal to your business success. That's how you're making all of the decisions on the weddings that you take on, what your brand presence is, how you interact on social media, and what you're showcasing. It is so, so, so important. And that ideal client needs to change over time, right? You can't have the same ideal client. If I had the same ideal client 14 years later, I would probably be out of business, honestly. I would just be so burnt out and not with it. So, out of alignment. Or if you were sitting there and I said, you're either too comfortable, you're out of alignment, or you're burnt out. If you're sitting here right now in 2024 and you are feeling burnt out, I've been there, I feel for you. And there's two reasons why you might be feeling that. One is the quality of weddings that you're doing, right? I think a lot of times, which I'll go to the next one, a lot of times when people think burnout, they think quantity. They think I'm working too much, I'm spread too thin, I don't have enough time for myself or my family, or I'm just tired, right? Quantity is where I think, associate a lot of burnout, but quality is equally as a dangerous place to be in. Boredom leads to burnout, you guys. So if you're bored and you're ready for more, say you're a florist and you're ready for, bigger budgets, more interesting installations, things like that, and you're just not getting that, you're going to be bored. You're going to be in that comfort place too. And we don't need to be bored as creatives, right? There's a reason why we've chosen this industry that we're in, because we like things quick. This is a really fast-paced industry. Things change all the time, right? Style is changing all the time. It's very inspired by fashion. The fashion industry changes so, so much. So there's, if the quality is not there, if the quality is lesser than you want to be doing, you're setting yourself up for burnout, which is another dangerous place to be. And also quantity. The biggest threat to your business are unsustainable business practices. So, like I said, if I was shooting 40 weddings a year with my 3 young kids, I would be incredibly burnt out. And that quantity would never work for us as a family.
The one secret weapon that propelled me and my business into the luxury market, my website. And truth be told, I have never had a custom website made for me. I am a huge fan of templates, and there's truly no better place to buy a website template than Tonic Site Shop. Unlike any other template on the market, Tonic Site Shop website templates elevate and transform the way you show up online. They're super simple but highly customizable plug-and-play templates for show-it websites have truly transformed my business and allowed me to showcase my brand in the best light possible, all while attracting high-quality clients and wedding planners to inquire with me, resulting in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of bookings that I'm confident would not have been possible without a polished website template like the one that I got from Tonic. You can grab your own website template at tonicsiteshop.com and use our code LEVELUP15 for 15% off your purchase. Again, that is code LEVELUP15 for 15% off your website template from Tonic Site Shop. So get started by elevating your online presence with a Tonic Site Shop template for your website today.
Okay, so you guys might be wondering why there's a horse on the back of here. And but I feel out of my league, right? You might be sitting there and you're saying, I want to level up. I want to move into the luxury market or from the budget market to the lovely market, but I'm scared. I'm out of my league. I don't know if I belong. I think that's a real fear for a lot of people. I grew up riding horses. And I think a lot of people will see this and they're like, okay, that's some old money stuff. Like, no, I was not that kid. I was so out of my league, you guys. My parents got me started in lessons when I was 4, mainly because my dad's an equine veterinarian. But we were a very, very lower middle class family. And being 4, I had no idea. I was like, oh, I ride horses. I didn't really think anything of it. And then as I got older, and I kept riding when I was 7, and I kept riding when I was 10, and I think it was around like my preteen years, I started to realize I'm so out of my league. I ride with a bunch of rich kids, and I am a poor kid in this rich sport. What am I doing here? I am so out of my league. I felt, but it was the resiliency that I had for how much I loved horses, how much I loved riding, how much I loved this sport that kept me going, honestly. And I think that a lot of us probably can kind of relate to that in some way or another, right? It's the resiliency that you love your craft. It's the resiliency that you love your business. When you started your business, no one starts their business thinking, I'm gonna start this and it's gonna be a failure, right? I think we all are here in our businesses because we want to create a legacy in the industry. Annette over here, 40 years doing florals. Like, that is a legacy, you guys. Like amazing. Like, yes, and we all want a career with longevity like that. And that only comes from recognizing when we've outgrown a market and when we're ready for the next thing. And yes, it might feel scary. Yes, you might feel out of your league. Sure, you might be the vendor that maybe didn't have all of the resources as someone else, but it just comes down to how much do you love your craft? How much do you love your clients? I think all of us can feel like whenever, let's say, I'm gonna backtrack with it. When I was ready to step into the next market, the first thing that came to it was that I knew that there were clients that needed us, right? I could serve a really good product to them. I wanted to give them a film that they were gonna enjoy for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Their kids could watch someday. Like, I knew in my core that like this higher level of client needed us in their lives and that we could serve them really, really well. And I think a lot of us here know that we can serve lots of different clients, right? But what is gonna help us create that longevity and that legacy in all of our businesses? So just as you may be the Kelley who did not have the groomers at the horse shows, that were mucking out our own stalls. I was getting up at 4 a.m. to feed my own horse when all the other kids were sleeping in at the hotel across the street, and I was getting out of our camper to go feed my horse at 4 a.m. in the morning. There's a lot that I learned from that season of my life, that junior season of my life, and think back maybe to a time in your own lives where you guys were resilient, where you might be in that time right now. So how, now that you've maybe recognized where you're at and where you want to go and where you might be holding yourself back in a current market, there's going to be 3 key things that are going to help you get there. Number 1 is a vision. So we talked about an ideal client. You really need to pinpoint who that is, and you need to create a vision for where you want your business to go. We can't just aimlessly be going year after year, just booking for bookings, booking for numbers. It really needs to be, you need to know where you want to go, and we're going to go after it. And that's going to take a strategy, and it's going to take traction. You have to have the vision. Now you have to have the strategy. How are you going to get the traction that's going to get you to that goal? So let's map out your business journey a little bit. These are the mile markers that are going to keep you on track. When you think about your vision, I want you to think, where is my business going to be in 10 years? Okay. And maybe if you've been doing weddings for a really long time, like I talk to students sometimes where they're like, I've been doing weddings for 25 years and my vision is I want to be retired. I want to stop doing this at some point. And that's okay. We're all in different walks of life. We're all different ages. We've entered our businesses at different times of life. And so, think about your core target. Where do you see your business in 10 years? And also make sure that this is a goal that's a SMART goal. So SMART goal means that you're specific, So you need to say, hey, I'm in the lovely market. In 10 years, I want to be consistently serving clients in the upper luxury market, right? You need to be really specific. If you look at it like, let's say weight loss, you're like, oh, it's January and he indulged too much over the holidays. I need to lose some weight. Well, instead of just saying, I need to lose some weight, saying, I need to lose 10 pounds. That's a specific goal. That's going to help you really follow through on that. The M starts for measurable. So how long is it going to take there to get there? So I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months. Okay, that's another way to set yourself up there. It also needs to be achievable. So if you were to say, I want to lose 10 pounds tomorrow, that's not achievable. You have to make sure that it's reasonable, which is the R. And then you also need to put a time on it, which I kind of have been putting a time on it, which is similar to measurable, but you have to say, I want to complete this goal by this point. Let's dial back that 10-year goal now. So if you have something in your mind, let's dial it back to your 3-year picture, okay? So set your 3-year picture with your big 10-year goal or vision for your business in mind. What is your goal for the next 3 years that's going to lead you to your 10-year goal, okay? So it can be, let's just go back to weight loss because it can be something. So let's say you needed to lose more like 60 pounds and you're like, I want to lose 60 pounds in a year. Well, let's dial it back. I could lose 20 pounds in 3 months. And you're kind of taking that and you're bringing that towards your 10-year goal. That's what's going to lead you there. And lastly, you need to come up with your 1-year plan. So with your 3-year picture in mind, what is going to help steer you towards achieving that 3-year picture with that 1-year plan? What's something that you can do this year and the next 12 months that's going to really transform your business and move the needle in your business that we need to do? So here's just an example as we took the tiers of the industry. So maybe you're in the budget market. You're kind of sitting there and you want to move into the lovely market by next year. Okay, you want to be working with a new tier of clients with a new caliber of creative partners. That's great. And your 3-year vision is going to be, I want to be in the entry-level luxury market, right? So now I've kind of slowly moved away from all of my budget clientele. I'm consistently working in the lovely market. And in 3 years, I want to be really consistently now in the luxury market. And then your 10-year goal, let's say your 10-year goal is you're working in the upper luxury market, and then I'll put a little like plus on there, and maybe you've diversified your income in some sort of way. So for me, the diversification of my income was I started off in weddings, and then now Paul and I have branched also into corporate work, which has diversified our income, and then I've also stepped into education, so I'm diversifying my income there. So maybe like education is a step for you in 10 years. So successfully leveling up is going to take a few things, you guys. It's going to take focus, it's going to take discipline, and it's going to take accountability. I think we are so lucky to be in a really beautiful industry that I think we can make really true friendships in. I have so many friendships that I made over the past 14 years. I feel like so many of just my friends now are people in the industry, and I'm sure like a lot of us feel that way as well. Also, success and healthy success at that, right? We're not like sprinting. This is a marathon, not a sprint, you guys. It cannot be achieved unless everyone on your team is on the same page. So what does that look like? That looks like, let's say you have a business partner, right? Maybe you have a team. You really need to get that entire team you all need to be on the same page, right? You need to know what your 10-year goals are. You need to know what the 3-year picture is. And everybody on your team needs to be on the same page for this to be healthy success. So it's not just one person dragging along the entire team. Everybody needs to be moving in the same direction with the same goals in mind. And that's where true traction comes into. If you don't have a team, which many of us don't, many of us are solopreneurs, right? That's why we need a community. That's why we need mentors. That's why we need coaches to be able to support us along the way. Let's say you're a solopreneur and your spouse is not in the industry. If you have this like success that you want to reach and they're kind of not quite there, they're not willing to support you in a personal level along that way, that's going to be really hard. That's going to cause a lot of friction, and it's not going to equal healthy success. So there's just another example of how when you set these goals, share them with people. Talk to people, talk to your team, talk to your friends, talk to the people in your life, your spouse, your partner, to make sure that you guys are all on the same page so that you can be supported along the way. And that's really where we make healthy business decisions, and fast-paced traction is formed. So think about it right now. How is 2025 going to look different for you than it did in 2024? For far too many years, I just thought 30 weddings a year, 30 weddings a year. I just have to hit 30 weddings a year. I wasn't even taking into account, I didn't know who my ideal client was. Like, I didn't know that there was different calibers or tiers in the industry. Like, guys, this is Valley Center girl here. Like, I think I heard one person ever spend like $100,000 on their wedding, and I thought that was a big deal, right? I think Paul and I, our own wedding was like $16,000. So we came into it in like a very like big little fish in a big pond, and our eyes were opened a lot. So I want to tell you guys, it's been so great speaking with you guys. I hope that this was helpful, and the next level is waiting for you guys. You have the talent. I know that you guys have the talent. You have the drive, and now is the time to pave the way.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.